And you are not here by accident. One of the things that has driven my desire to understand why do these things happen? Why on the best of days do we have the worst of times? And why when things seem to be so wrong, why do they end up turning out so right? I remember one day I was burying my mother, actually. And I walked into the funeral home. It had been 2 weeks. Everything had been embezzled. And if you could imagine, burying your mother sucks. But when you're an only adopted child, it kind of puts another layer of sucks on it, right? And I'm going through this. I walk in and I see these flowers that were laying on a coffin. And they had wilted, and I felt wilted just like those flowers. And at the same time, I just deep down inside knew that, you know what, as bad as this is, there's got to be a reason for it. And when I look back at this, it caused me to really examine, you know, if I could just get my mind, and I'm going to paraphrase this, to become aware of these patterns that keep showing up, then perhaps they could mean something. Then perhaps I could get this misery to make sense to me. It could help me to better understand my life. And if I could just understand my life, then perhaps all of this stuff, all the minutia, all of the frustration would make sense. And that's when I came to this one conclusion, that if I'm going through all of this, and I'm going through all of this right now, I must simply be here for a reason. Today, what I want to talk to you about is a subject that has been quite controversial. It's been on Oprah's show. There's a book called The Secret that's been out, and this is called The Law of Attraction. At first, when I heard about that, I thought, this is a bunch of bull. How can you manifest something by sitting back and visualizing it? How could you make something in your life happen just because you have belief? Then the scientist in me kicks in. I begin to study these laws, and I examine this quantum field that exists. And I knew for a fact, being a very spiritual but not so religious of a person, that there were some correlations, that there were laws out there. There was the law of gravity. There was the law of inertia, the law of buoyancy. And I wondered, if this law of attraction is real, how do you tap into this law? Number one, what are the parameters? Because as a scientist, I know that if something is really measurable and can be replicated, that it does actually have a legitimate scientific premise. And the more I dug, the more I found. What I found was, when I thought about what Socrates made this statement, he said, you know, the unexamined life is a life that is not worth living. Well, if you've been like most normal people, you are either in a storm, about to go into a storm, and you just left one. And if you're wise, you will start to ask yourself deeper questions like, why am I here? What is the reason that I have to have this hard day, this situation in front of me that makes absolutely no sense? Is it that there's an ancestor of mine that has some karmic debt and I'm paying it? Or is this just bad luck? What is going on in my life that is causing me to go through these changes, these setbacks, these obstacles that appear to be doing everything but working for my good? That led me to ask another question. Is there a divine plan? Is everything that happens in life merely happenstance? Some of you've buried everything from a child to a parent. Some of you right now are going through a horrible divorce. Some of you went to work on Monday and found out that you weren't going to be there Friday. Or like a couple of friends of mine this past week, they woke up dead. 45 years old, nothing wrong with him, the man just died in his sleep. And when you ask yourself this stuff, you have to ask yourself, Why me? Why am I going through all of this? Well, I want you to know something. When we're known for our successes, people look at these accolades and they see the glory, but they don't know the story. They don't have a clue about what it is that you've been through or what you're probably even going through. But today, I'm going to give you the biggest key to using the law of attraction, and it's called the power of the presence, the power of right now. Now imagine this, if you will. I toss an object to you. You catch it? Did you really stop and calculate velocity, rate of descent, trajectory? Did you actually look at my face and see, did he have some kind of frown on his face? Is this thing going to burn me? Could it cut me? If I don't catch it, will it break? Well, the truth be told, it did, but you didn't. The real truth is that our subconscious mind is nothing but a library filled of moments that we've seen, we've experienced, things that have broken our hearts, things that we've succeeded at, and just like we throw that object to you, you just react, kind of like George Bush did when they threw that shoe at him. You remember that move? Okay. Well, that's good if you're getting something thrown at you, but if you use just your reactions with everything that happens in your life, do you think that's actually going to turn out pretty good? Chances are that it won't. And this is where I started studying the law of attraction and how this power of being present in the here and the now really work. Failure. Failure is the first step in you actually moving toward your destiny. Now, if you were talking to me at a bar or at a school somewhere, you'd probably say, Dr. Young, how in the dickens is failure something that is actually working for my good? And I'm going to show you. The contradiction in life is often the tool for confirmation. So right now, if you are having some problem in your life, you can't get that approval for that loan, you're not able to get in this class right now, the job you really want, they didn't hire you. I want you to understand that there are forces that govern our lives, and I don't think any of us can explain it, but heck, when you go and take your cell phone out and hit send, can you explain how it reaches the other person? So it doesn't mean because you can't explain it, it's not real, but the reality of this is this. Everything that is working for you and that's going to make you become what you were created to be, who you're created to be, is going to come through pressure. So if right now in your life you are experiencing pressure, believe me, that is a very good thing. There's this story and spiritual text about being in this place called Gethsemane. And if you can imagine, I don't know if any of you have ever had some olive oil and looked at how they got it, but an olive does not have that much oil in it. And in order to get the essence of that oil out of that olive, they have to press it and push it beyond a place that it doesn't even seem reasonable, till by the time they're done with it, it doesn't even look anything like the way it began. And see, that's what's happening with you right now. You're being pressed. You're being pushed beyond your comfort zone. You're being forced to do what you've never done, to try what you've never tried, to be what you've never been. But see, it's only during this time that your true essence can really come forth. See, the universe is purging you. And some of you can call this the Creator, God. I don't know what name you want to use, but I want you to know this. Everything is working for your good, even in these times when you feel like giving up, even when you don't know, am I going to get funded? Is this loan going to get approved? Is my child going to be okay? Am I going to survive this divorce? This pressure that's on you separates the superfluous from the strong. Pressure migrates the mediocre toward being mighty. Pressure truncates people that were about to stumble and travail and gets them to triumph. In other words, what I'm saying is that there's some stuff, just like in that olive, that when it was pressed, the essence of it comes forth. And see, misery, depression, angst, gloom, that is the source material for this. Going back to my mother's funeral, I remember thinking, man, this sucks. But in hindsight, all I can say is it was so good that I had been afflicted. It was so good that this affliction was teaching me how to be the man that I was really created to be. It was forcing me to leave being my mother's little boy. And even though I was a grown man, it taught me, it shaped me. And the man that stands before you today is here to tell you that there's greatness in you. When your spirit is pushed to a point where you wonder, how am I going to do tomorrow? I have many people that come to my practice and they look at me and they say, Doc, I just don't get it. What did I do to deserve this? And I said, you were born. You weren't born to remain the same. And just as when you were in your mother's womb, you found yourself in a place where it got a little tight. Believe me, your mama was ready for you to leave and you were ready to go. And by the time that process started, you come out and here's this new world welcoming you. You with all your flaws, with all your perceptions, with all these things that you didn't think were going to be a constituent to you becoming the great person, that individual that you are today. See, when you have this happen, it forces you to re-examine life. It forces you to take another look at the vision, to rewrite the script, to get clarity. See, there's this power that being present in the here and now and asking these questions and saying, why am I here right now? Why are you talking to me? One thing I even noticed about dogs, even when they walk up to each other, they don't just look at each other and walk by. They even sniff each other out to wonder, is this a... Well, don't try that. But there's this place where you need to really investigate the situations, the circumstances, the people, the things that you're experiencing. And especially, this is true if you don't like it. If you feel that, this doesn't seem right, but something inside you tells you, don't quit. Don't give up. This is your season. And see, when you see this vision, you will start to see the value. And as a verb, you can see value is always associated with money's worth, but see, as a noun, is this situation useful in my life? Is being turned down useful to me right now? Is this man or this woman leaving me useful right now? Is the fact that I didn't get accepted into that school useful? I'm here to tell you, yes, it is. See, when we understand the cost, the value to produce something, all of a sudden, we realize that it's good that some of these doors closed. A lot of you right now, you have no clue how you dodged the bullet by that person turning you down when you proposed to that job not hiring you. And as you start to understand your purpose, you will learn to spot these redirects. This is how you know the universe is working. This is how you know the laws of attraction are working. When you have to review, when you have to take another view at it, when you have to rethink it, when you have to remove something from your plan, when you have to rework it, when you have to recover it, when you have to rebound, then you resolve what you thought was a problem that was going to hold you there and have you stuck. Now, you ask me, Dr. Young, how do I know? I'm going to tell you this. Stop measuring by what you can see and measure by what you can envision. Allow the laws of attraction to work for you, just like the law of gravity. It's not indiscriminate. If you don't believe me, well, no, don't go jump off of a building. But you'll find out it's no respecter of person. And the law of attraction isn't either. But to use it, to really get started with this, you must be present in the here and in the now. Understand this, that which you seek is equally seeking you. All you have to do is position yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually And when you get those redirects, what you're looking for